To you live. Okay. So yeah, this is Achad. How are you? How your mom and them doing? You know what I'm saying? How your granny and them, your grandpops and them. What's up? Uh, I'm waiting for we're gonna go live on the YouTube and on the Instagram. Waiting for the Instagram's connection to connect me to the connection. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, obviously, let's get this out of the way. Holographer, the whole writing, the arts and sciences is one educational discipline by Al Akkad. You want to learn how to really read your life, your existence, the things that happen to you. You know, this is all about getting you on that level to read the whole thing, not part. If you can read words on a page, on a website, on a sheet of paper, you should be able to also read your dreams, either the things that happened to you today, years ago when you was a little jit, as a little baby, and what's to come, in the future. Say how how you get readings from psychics or tarot card deck shufflers and all them. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to read that without even having to use any of that. You know what I'm saying? This is the book you want to get, Holography. The website is www.holographer.com/the-book. And this Instagram still want to act up. That's crazy. Hold on. But anyway, today I will talk about a subject that, again, I only really like coming here to talk about subjects that are not being touched on by other teachers, lecturers, people out in the conscious, occults, metaphysical, new age community, and that's dealing with principles. So the name of this video shall be named The Jadakiss Chamber, Teaching You Principles. Now, the reason why it's called the Jadakiss Chamber because, like, as a fan of the Locks, you know what I'm saying, or D Block Locks, that's Jadakiss, Styles P, Chic Luch, you know what I'm saying, these rappers from Yonkers, New York. More of a fan than me. I'm more Wu Tang. He's more Locks, but you always see a lot of collaborations between the Locks and Wu Tang. They're always on each other's projects. You know what I'm saying, some way or another. And also because they actually came out with a joint album or a collaborative album known as Wu Block, and this album came back. Was it 2000? Yeah, this album came out in like 2012. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite albums. I like that album. It's mostly Chic Luch and Ghostface Killer on that. They're on most of the songs, but like I say, you have appearances from the other two members of Locks, and then rest of the Wu Tang is on there in some way, form, or whatever. So, and like I said, the reason why we have to speak about this, and you have to listen if you choose to, is that Jadakiss has, in recent years, he's been dropping this same type of thing in his lyrics where he's talking about principles. On his album with Fabolous, it's called Friday on Elm Street. So they tried to they were doing this theme where Jadakiss was Jason, like the killer Jason, and Fabulous is Freddy Krueger on this whole album. So there's a song they have on that album called Principles. And I can tell this is Jadakiss's idea because he's been talking about this thing for a while. You know what I'm saying? Where he's talking about teaching people principles and teaching them values and stuff like that. He's been rapping about it in several songs. Um, there's a lyric that he has on the album Woo Block where he's saying, teaching niggas principles. You know what I'm saying? He says it like that. And I forgot what other songs he's also talking about that. I just know, like I said, he even created a whole album. Excuse me, not an album, a whole song where he's talking about principles. Now, this is something that a lot of people I don't see talking about is principle. You know what I'm saying? And you can just tell by the word, the word starting with PRI, that we're talking about something that's first, that comes before everything else. It's primal, it's primordial, it's above and beyond. We also talking about the theme of principality. This is something you get in your, you know what I'm saying, your Holy Bible, where it talks about, I forgot the exact verse where it's saying that we're against certain forces and principalities and stuff like that. Now, again, you're not warring against flesh, you're warring against different principalities and, you know what I'm saying, things of that different spirits or whatever. Now, it makes sense why I'm talking about it is because some people don't know these principles. You know what I'm saying? Because principle is just another word of, or another way of saying abstract um, theme, quality, controlling idea. And you know, as a holographer, what I do as far as like dealing with writing and narrative linguistics, dealing with people's narrative, like what narrative did you choose as you came to live here in the physical, or you know, view your reality in a physical manner? Like, what narrative does your life follow? What narrative did you choose before you were physically born? Right? Now, throughout that narrative, you have what's what I would call a theme, right? It's just like a story or a literary piece. There's themes throughout. There's controlling ideas. Like if I asked you what your favorite movie was about, it would go to a theme, right? Like some movies are about redemption, some movies are about revenge, some movies are dealing with coming of age, like you see like kids growing into their adulthood. That's a theme, that's a controlling idea of that narrative, right? You have movies where you know, there's a they go on a quest, like an adventure, to like get the ring or get the golden fleece. Like you can get that from Greek mythology, I think, or Roman mythology. That is the controlling idea. That's the force that everything else in the narrative abides by. So if the movie is about redemption, then it's the controlling idea, and everything in the movie is subservient to that theme, that principle, that quality, that abstract, right? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to teaching you principles. Jadakiss is teaching you principles. I don't really hear any other type of, you know, main MC, like, you know, a real hot MC talking about that. I'm pretty sure there's some underground rappers or, you know what I'm saying, underground MCs talking about it. But definitely with Jadakiss, it's like I keep hearing the word principle. I keep hearing the word value. And it's like it's something that he's trying to impart through his lyrics that, yo, I'm trying to teach people that listen to my music, or at least show them that, you know, you gotta live by principle and be aware of the principles, not just in some narrative in a movie or in a book, but throughout your own existence, your world, your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have these principles on lock? So, for example, like, what principles do you live by? There's people who live by the principle of honor and integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like some Denzel shit. It's like you gotta have honor and you gotta have integrity. You know what I mean? Some people have integrity, some people don't live by that code. Because the code is another way of saying principle too. Like, what code do you live by? What principle do you stand on? It's a lot of people, they either got weak knees or, you know, broken tibulas, or I don't know, something wrong with their legs where they just can't stand on principle. They be lying, they be deceiving, you know what I'm saying? Being fake, you know what I'm saying, on the social media or whatnot. Like, where's your principles at? Like Jadakiss say, where your principles at? Remember that? I don't know if you from like I don't, some of y'all might not, obviously you wouldn't live like in the northeastern United States, like where you have Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, New York. But it's this thing that some of them say, that they say ak. I think it's from the whole Muslim culture where they be like ak. You know what I'm saying? They be like, "Hey, what you got on your feet, ak? Yeah, let me get a slice of pizza and a bottle of 7 Up, ak." Like they say ak. You know what I'm saying? I think that's them saying, you know, friend, or, you know, saying buddy or pal, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on, pal? Or you can say, what's going on? It's just something I've always dealt with, like, you know, as a teenager. Like, what does "op" mean? But it's like, it's something that the Muslim brothers and sisters do. But anyway, principle. Standing on principles. I stand on principles. There are principles that I abide by. There are principles that flow through me. You can tell just based on my vibe, my energy. You know what I'm saying? That's my, you can tell that's my principle. You know what I'm saying? I stand on these codes. I stand on this quality. Like you, I'm an embodiment of that quality. Like for example, if somebody's a, you know what I'm saying, they're a stand up guy, it's like they stand on integrity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody just sent, hold on. You said, what constitutes a principle? Well, I was just telling you, abstract idea, controlling principle, controlling idea, controlling like force. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. You have to understand that this physical dimension or matrix that you're living in, or that you think that you're in, is based on ideas, principles, and themes and abstracts. That's what this all is. Everything here is an effect of that. Everything here is a vessel for some sort of abstract or principle. So, for example, if I pick up my book, this book has to embody certain principles. It's not just here just to be, a hunk of paper. Like, it represents something. There's something that it comes to, what I'm saying, embody. So, for example, if I'm talking about knowledge, it's an embodiment of knowledge. If I'm talking about high science and esotericism, then it becomes, it embodies that within the book. So a principle is more like an intelligence. If we go more into the occult side of it, it's the intelligence that is part of the fabric of this whole existence. You know what I'm saying? It's a pillar in this existence. So this existence would not be complete without these pillars being here to then express themselves through physical, actions or physical things or forms that you see in the physical. You know what I'm saying? Say in business, I'm thinking it would be branding. Yeah, you can definitely look at it like that, but obviously everything is not, like a business, like, how you sell and do transactions. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the whole thing. Holography deals with the whole thing. We're not just limited to businesses or companies or stuff like that. We're going beyond what we deal with on the physical. So, like, but for example, a company can live by certain principles as well. Like, for example, you have a company that they don't deal with bioengineer food. Like, I went shopping today. It's like damn near everything on the shelf it contains bioengineered ingredients. So some of y'all is eating lab food right now. You know what I'm saying? And don't even know it. So they don't stand. They stay. Well, excuse me. They stand on the principle of not giving you fake, false food, fugazi food, fake food. You can live by that principle. So as like a restaurateur, or you having your own like place where people buy stuff from you, you stand on the principle of authenticity. That's a principle. So everything about your products or your services or everything in your storefront is authentic. It's not bioengineered. It's not fake. It's not derived from something and then, it's a fake version of something that actually is or whatever. You stand on the principle of authenticity. You people out here don't really stand on that principle. You can tell. I ain't even got to sit here and really do a scientific breakdown on that. But understanding that these themes and principles have a esoteric side to them or a occult side to them. So when you want to sit here and talk about spirits, you're really okay. So the spirit, as it moves, as it does what it does, as it moves and it, makes this happen or what that happen. What is it really? What's driving that spirit, right? So if you deal with a spirit where you want to try to attack somebody with it, that means that spirit is probably standing on the principle of vengeance or, bloodthirst. You know what I'm saying? That's its principle. That's its controlling idea. So you would consult on that spirit to be like, okay, or deal with that spirit to then do that type of warfare or attacking to someone else. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't send a spirit that deals with, you know, I don't know, growth of the plants or whatever. You wouldn't send that to attack anybody unless it also embodies the spirit or the idea of war or wrath. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Principles. Once you know the principles or the pillars of this whole existence, you know what everything here is here to represent. You know what I'm saying? When I give you a $100 bill, what is the $100 bill representing? Value, something that you can trade for something else. Opportunity, you know what I'm saying? These are all the themes that go into that dollar. It's not just, paper just written on and, it's printed on. It represents an idea in someone's mind or within the collective consciousness that we are. That's what I'm talking about. So anything here that is physical, be it my flesh, my blood, my book, a car driving out on the street, the clouds in the sky, rain, thunder, it don't matter what it is. Two people having sex, there's always a theme being expressed through all physical phenomena. The physical phenomena is only here to be an expression of those themes and principles. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm here, like let's say I'm in a profession where I have to be honest, where I have to be like, you know what I'm saying, I have to have that integrity. Like I have to be the embodiment of that while in that situation. I'm here to represent authenticity. I'm here to represent integrity. Because these are also another word you want to be familiar with is virtues. Because this is something that, like, when you get into like Freemasonry or Rosicrucianism or certain Greco-Roman mystery systems or stuff like that, they're always about trying to be the embodiment of a virtue. You know what I'm saying? So someone can be an embodiment of love, and then you could look at other people and be like, nah, they're not they're embodiment of hate. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on Instagram and people be embodying hate and then be coming, you know, to my page with that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Because you have to look at this physical thing as the realm of effects. Nothing here causes anything else. So, like for example, if I were to slap you in your face, it's not me slapping you in your face. It's the whole atmosphere of or the theme or the virtue of what's going on, and then my physical hand touching your physical face is just the expression of that. It's the result. So let's say if I'm possessed by disrespect, then I come and slap you, dry palm slap, you know what I'm saying, right across the schnoz. I just embody disrespect. I just let disrespect channel through my hand and through your face. You know what I'm saying? So whatever type of theme that you can come up with, it doesn't matter what it is. Are you an embodiment of fun? You know what I'm saying? So whenever someone's in your vicinity, they know that you're fun because you embody fun. You embody adventure. You embody having a good time. So that's why people that want to have a good time, they're always flocking to you because you are an embodiment of fun. You are in the spirit of fun, just like I was in a spirit of disrespect by slapping you across your jaw. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Like, for example, symbols. See, everything here in the physical is a symbol. It's the embodiment of a meaning. See, when we talk about this book right here, we're talking about how do we read the semiotic value of everything in existence and look at the narrative of these things as they conform to that narrative. You understand what I'm trying to say? Nothing here is it's here by itself. It's here to express a certain theme, quality, principle, spirit, or whatever you want to call it. So you can even look at me right now and be like, oh, what does Alex embody, or Achad, what is he embodying right now? Like, what theme is coming through based on his actions, based on what he's saying, based on the, you know what I'm saying, the body gestures he's making? Like, what is he embodying right now? And because I'm out here teaching, that means I'm embodying the spirit or the theme or the principle of education. And even so with this book, I have a whole chapter in this book talking about true education. So it's not just education as you may know it in college or high school or something like that. It's education in its truest sense. So now I am nothing but a vessel for that theme, for that principle, for that abstract. Because what is it, for example, for those of you that love melanin, what is melanin an embodiment of? What themes come through when you see melanin, or when melanin is present in your experience? What does melanin mean? What semiotic value does melanin have? Because if you know its semiotic value, you know exactly how it operates in the physical, or why it does anything that it does in the physical. Teaching you principles, That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that don't understand this level of existence. Now, also in my book, we talk about the theme, or excuse me, the conceptualization of the semiosphere, or the semioplane, which is a level of existence where all meanings exist. So if all is mind, universe is mental, we're dealing with a whole semiosphere or semioplane of meaning. So now, as you get, denser and denser and denser and go into more densified planes of existence, everything on the lower planes of existence are just a embodiment or an example or a symbol of this everything on the semio plane of existence, which is meaning. I teach you how to read meanings in this book. Make sure you cop one so that you will be able to read in ways that other people cannot. Read in ways other people cannot. Teaching you principles. You need to know your principles, because once you know principles, you know how principles operate. You know their functions, their formulae, their algorithms. You know how things work now. So I'm no longer as lost as I once was about why things happen to me, about why things happen to you, about why you're coming here now and why other people aren't here. I understand the principles at work and the machines or the vessels, vehicles, or vectors that work on behalf of their principles. So again, this book here is just a vessel for the collected meanings or principles or values that I've put in here. So obviously, because it's here to be a tool for teaching, it is an embodiment of education. Education is not a physical thing, not in its ultimate sense. It's not a physical space-time thing. It's a abstract. It's a principle, a value, a virtue, and it operates in the physical through things and phenomena that those things go through. So think about what themes you embody. What is your controlling idea? What are you here to do? What is your purpose for existing? Why are you taking on a meat bag or a meat stick or a body, as some people will call it? Why? Because once you know that principle that you came here to represent, now you can never be lost about the reason why you're here. You know what I'm saying? It's an abstract and intangible construct. Exactly. So that means it's beyond space and time. It's beyond physical matter. It's beyond mass or time or, you know what I'm saying, the way things move or the way things turn out. It's beyond that. But it plays its part by working through objects, people, beings, and things on the physical. So again, you are nothing as a physical thing, even as an emotional and a intellectual being. You are just here to operate on a principle. Now I'm trying to help you learn what your principle is. What is your theme? What is your telos? For example, what is your purpose? This is semiotics. This is what's called semiosis, the signification of, a narrative or things, as they appear in a story. You don't think your life is a narrative you already chose before you got here? Because some people think they are affecting things on this level of physicality, and it's like, no, you kind of already chose this shit before you got here. You're just living it out. So anything that you thought that you're changing or you're making do this, it's like you was already going to do that before you came here. You was already going to meet that person, have an interaction with them, whatever happens between you. That was already in the works, pal. That was already in the script before you lived it out. To be more specific, it was something that was already written before you came through the legs of your mother or you came out of her womb. You're just living it out, pal. So now it's like, what principle or what theme or abstract am I in service of? You know what I mean? You say exactly. We are a noun and a verb at the same time. We are a walking paradox looking to find the level in between. But do people know that? And it's even deeper than that, because you're going into the holography, which since you wanted to use, noun and verb, it's the holography. So now we're talking about not just my script alone, not just your script, everybody's script, all places, everywhere, past, present, and future. The whole shebang, the whole thing. This is why it's circled, encircled. It's the whole thing. So now we know that this is also an embodiment of the whole, totality, completion. Not part, not section, not a fraction or a half measure, the whole. Now, now by contrast, you can go to like, a Barnes and Noble or like just a store where they got books, like a Walmart or whatever, and you have these books where it's about, politics. You have books about celebrity gossip. You have books for children. Like now you're looking at different embodiments of different themes. So if you look at a book that's a tell-all about, maybe the music industry or the football league or something like that, now that book becomes an embodiment of gossip. It serves the theme or the principle of gossip. Gossip is a theme or a principle that is beyond space and time. It's an entity that exists beyond any physical thing. But for it to express itself, things have to be created or vessels have to be built for it to express itself through. So like a book that's a tell-all on, the lives of football players or something like that, that book is serving the goal of expressing gossip. It works for gossip. It's an agent of gossip. Just like this book is an agent of education. It's an agent of completion. It's an agent of spirituality, metaphysics, you know what I'm saying? Anything in that lane. It's an embodiment of it. He said, how does this concept you're speaking on relate to phenomena of one's dreams and astral experiences? Because what does the astral experience mean? We're talking about semiotic value. So you're talking about dreams and astral walking. What does it mean that you're able to do that? What are you trying to achieve by doing it? What reactions out of yourself come because you are in a dream or because you are astral traveling? You're just doing it to do it. What's the point? What's the reason? What's the telos? What's the purpose? What are you trying to achieve here? Where does it end? Why not just stay on the physical and walk on the sidewalk? Why do you have to astral travel? What's the point? That's how it relates, because everything that happens, whether it's happening physically or in your dream or on planes above, there are semiotic values attached to each experience. So in my book, I teach you how to read that because it's all part of your existential narrative that you are living out. That's what makes the dream and your physical experience one and the same, because you are being extracted, like something, you're reacting to everything that happens. So why are you in the dream reacting the way that you're reacting? Because that'll tell you exactly why the fuck the dream is happening in the first place, if you ask me. We call it dream genome interpretation. I also have a source, or excuse me, what was I going to say? I have a course for that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I show people how to interpret your dream that way. So now when you start looking at things from a semiotic perspective, everything here has a semiotic value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I eat avocados a lot. So I collect the seed in order to be able to understand the kernel work. If you've been watching my videos lately, and then also in this book, I talk about kernel work, because people like talking about root work, but root work is not the source. Root work is part. It's not the source of where things start. Kernels are. Seed. So what does this embody? Yeah, it's a physical thing. It's a physical plant, or like, you know what I'm saying? It can grow into a plant. You bury it in the soil, put water on it, have the solar light hitting it. You know what I'm saying? But what does it embody? What abstracts and principles are contained in the seed? Beginning, start, Genesis. It is an embodiment of Genesis. It starts things. It starts to become an avocado bush or tree or whatever the fuck an avocado becomes. You know what I'm saying? So now we're assessing its semiotic value. What does this damn seed mean to me? What does it mean to the rest of the holography or the rest of the world, the universe? What is it an embodiment of? Even my glasses. What does my glasses embody? What does it come here to represent? Clarity, vision. So the clarity and the vision precede the actual physical construction and idea of the glasses themselves. So this is the reason why it exists, so that it can express clarity. I put them on. Now my eyesight has been clarified. Like now everything is not, all, blurry now. It's all clear. It's crystal. You see what I'm saying? And it's not just physical things. It's also events, phenomena, things that are like the happenings of things. If you trip over your own feet in your house, like for example, if you hit your feet on the bedpost or you hit your feet on the table as you're walking, there's a semiotic value to that. So you just think that, oh, my foot, it hurts, my baby toe. But from a higher perspective, from the perspective of a semiotic value or from a semial plane, you're being told that you need to watch where you're walking, not just physically, but throughout your life. Because perhaps you are involved in some shit that you're not even paying attention to. You're not paying attention to where your life is going. You see what I mean? Because why would you sit here and allow yourself for your foot to hit the bedpost? It's a semiotic meaning that you're not paying attention to where you're going. Purpose denotes design. Okay. There's also form follows function. There's, all those sayings are true. They all come together. Meaning follows intent. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole hierarchy of this. You know what I'm saying? So I need to figure out what the fuck the symbiotic meanings behind all the roaches popping up in this house. Well, you have to know why have roaches? What does a roach represent? Not even just what it represents, but what reactions do you have towards that roach? It's not just what the roach embodies, it's also what it draws out of you. Because again, if we go back to the Onira or the dream, if we go back to the dream, what is being drawn out of you because the dream is happening? So people love to focus on what's in the dream, but they never focus on their reactions in the dream. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that with dreams. But as far as anything here, anything that you can observe, even anything that you can feel. Because, for example, why do you feel afraid in a situation where, like, first of all, you don't see anything that's scary, but you're feeling a sense of fear? You're sensing something. What does that mean? Your spidey senses are tingling. What does that mean? There's a semiotic value to that happening, that emotion. So that means that this situation that you're in is drawing out your innate and already built-in sense of fear. You are only ever afraid because you are embodying fear. How can you be afraid if you don't embody fear? If it's not in your vessel, how can you ever be afraid? Teaching you principles, Ak. Teaching you values, Ak. You know how they say numbers have, obviously, if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to whatever and beyond, each of those numbers have a numeric value. So, for example, I have 1 seed, 2 books. What can I pick up? 2 pens. I was looking for a 3rd pen. Keep it in the order or whatever. No, okay, here we go. I got 3. I got 3 flash drives. Can you see them? 3 flash drives. You know what I'm saying? What else? What else? I'm just looking, just stuff. It's nothing where you have to go into a book yet. It's stuff right here around you, right in front of you, things you deal with every day. What else? I don't know. I'm trying to look for a number 4 somewhere. 4 corners of the house or whatever. You can do it like that. But you see what I'm saying? That's the numeric value of the number. What about the semiotic value or the quality of the number? So what does one mean in its mean? Like, what does it mean semiotically? What does two mean? What does three mean? What does four mean? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What do they mean? Now you also have what's called numerology. You know, people they love trying to assess your assess your numbers, like you know how many letters are in your name and the English gematria, and try to figure out, oh, you're an 8, you're a 7. Nah, you're a 2. Nah, my brother's a 4, but I'm a 5. That's why we gel together. You know what I'm saying? People be on that. But that whole thing of numerology is actually based on an even older and more primordial understanding that the numbers have semiotic values to them. He said, "Yep, that's where emotional intelligence comes into play." Yeah, it's beyond emotional intelligence. It's about the intelligence of this whole holography, this whole script. Whether it's just your script or just my script, our script together, our script as Black people, our script just here in the United States, or the script as the whole world. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching you principles. Who else is out here doing except being Jadakiss? You know what I'm saying? We out here teaching people principles. Get the principles down pat, and everything else will make sense. That's why I wrote this. So what is the semiotic value of one? We know that one represents wholeness, completion, all things as one. The whole thing, one, the first, the beginning, that which precedes everything else. That's the whole semiotic value of one. We can keep going with that. Two, what's the semiotic value of two? Duality, split, division, section. You know what I'm saying? Duality is the first illusion. Some people don't know that. They want to sit here and call this physical an illusion. The first illusion is that duality is the duality. So if you're seeing duality in your, you know, or experiencing it or observing it in your everyday place, you're observing the illusion because all things are one. So why are you seeing divisions and dualities if it's all one? You're living the illusion. So before we get into, oh, is this cup real, or you know, is this seed real, or is this book real? No, nigga, it starts at the duality. The duality is the first illusion. DITFI, duality is the first illusion. I'm teaching you principles. That first split where all things are one, and then there was a schism. You know what I'm saying? And you can also look at this book and see that that's an embodiment of that, right? Because you have two different figures, one part is in the other. So though there's a schism, they're all completed in one. It's all expressions of the one, just like the first split. Exactly. So again, you want to sit here and talk about, you know, the physical is an illusion, but how? In what way? In what fashion or what form? Learn your principles. Gotta learn your principles. They don't teach you, they teach you 1, 2, 3, but they don't teach you the semiotic value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And ad infinitum. You know what I mean? Now, if you look at my equation here, a equals 1 over infinity, you know where my finger is at. That is the equation that I use as to explain everything. It's basically all equals 1 over infinity, meaning that no matter how many changes or how many divisions come or happen, it all remains 1. No matter how many things can be numbered in this existence, it's all, and it'll always be 1. No matter how many times it changes, no matter how many times, you know, I slap you or how many times you make money, it doesn't matter. It all goes back to being 1. 1 over the infinity. An infinite thing divided infinitely. All remains 1. That's a principle to know. That's a principle to live by. That's a principle to express, to embody. So you got people out here just operating and they don't know these principles. So you can tell that their operation or their walk is fucked. You know what I'm saying? You lost. For as you are ignorant to these principles, you are lost. No matter where you at. Even if you think you in Texas or you think you in China, you think you're in Europe somewhere, you know what I'm saying? You think you in a Galapagos island or something, it don't matter. You're still lost if these principles are not acknowledged by you. Because everything here is an embodiment or a vessel or a vehicle or a vector of all those principles. So who's out here expressing these principles to you? Who's alerting them to you? You should know why everything is happening to you, because each happening or each experience, each event is the embodiment of a principle. So for you to come to me and say, "Oh, it doesn't mean anything," or there's no, design to life or design to existence. It's like you a dead ass lie, or you just don't know. I'll accept your ignorance. I mean, it doesn't look like you want to learn anything, so But knowing the patterns of everything that's happening, I can never sit here and agree with you and say, "Oh, it doesn't mean anything." Of course it does. What you mean? Even you saying that means something. See, I take semiosis beyond physical. We're going into every level for those of you that love chakras. I'm dealing with every chakra when it comes to this stuff. So think of the topmost, highest point chakra and everything on down. There is semiotic value to every chakra. Chakra itself, as a word, as a concept, is a motherfucking virtue. It's a a principle. It's a abstract, because chakra means wheel. So those there's people that deal with chakras and don't even deal with the wheel aspect of the chakra. Like it's literally means wheel. So what does a wheel embody? What does a wheel mean? Because if you know what a wheel means, you should know exactly what the fuck a chakra is. And never be confused about what it is and what it is here to do, or what you should be, how you should be approaching it. He said it makes so much sense. He said, and I've always said that this is why I curb my passions when becoming angry with others. Okay. Somebody put a fire emoji. Said, question, would you consider each chakra a vector point? Well, again, what is a chakra? Is a chakra something physical? Is it a vector? Does it contain something else or contain other higher meaning or higher semiotic value? Because again, I just told you that a chakra is a wheel. It literally means in Sanskrit wheel. So what you have to know what is embodied by a wheel. Circuits, cycles. Here I can, we can just go straight to the book, man. We can go straight to my book. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a bit. Wait a bit. Wait a bit. Wait a bit. Go straight to my book, my friend. Because I have a chart here where it lists all those things that are related to wheels and chakras and stuff like that. You got to know what a wheel is. Some people don't know why does a wheel exist? Why does a circle exist? What is a circuit, circumstance, chakra, loop, revolution, universe, metaverse, turn, orbit, rotation, spin, axis, wheel, ring, ringmaster, circus? They're all together now. They all mean the same, or they all go back to the same meaning. It all means the same shit. So if you're talking about a circle or a chakra, you're talking about rotation, spin, axis, or not axis, axis, ring, circle, circus. To turn around. Vertere means to turn around. Volve means to turn. So if you're talking about a universe, you're talking about something that turns. If you're talking about something that's revolving, something that's turning. You know what I'm saying? Or you said I'm mute. I don't know. It's YouTube, man. YouTube, bro. Like this might even go cut the black. They've been doing that to me when I go live. Like just make my whole screen black and now the video is just over. He said, "You said circus." Yeah, because what is a circus? Where does the word come from? What are you saying when you say circus? You're saying a circle, circuit, cycle. And then the fact that you can juxtapose the zodiac with the circus, and now you know exactly what the circus is here for. But anyway, that's semiotic value for your ass. Principles, learn your principles. There's nothing here in the physical that is above and beyond the principle that controls it. That's why I study psychology and have more knowledge of self than someone studying psychiatry or psychotherapy or psychology itself. So you got people out here trying to tell you about you, but they don't even know their own cycles. They don't know their loops. They don't know how their circuit works. I don't even take you seriously if you don't know your cycles. Like you don't know what you do every 2 days, every month, every 3 years. Like you don't know that. So how do you know yourself? You don't know how you turn. You don't know how you operate. You are ignorant to it. You're just vicariously living. Not saying that about anybody here. I'm just saying, like, for the average person, that's their life. They don't know why they turn. They don't even know why they do the shit they do, which is a sign of a lack of knowledge, a lack of self-acknowledgement. They don't know the principles that they operate under. Here, let's go through some exercises. So, for example, you got a woman that you saw in a strip club. You got a woman that she got a fat ass. She got the heels. She got the titties bulging out. She got all that going on. What is she embodying? This could be on a worksheet on a month that I can give you at school. I just described this woman. What principles is she embodying? That can be right there on a sheet of paper, and I give you a pen for you to fill it out, and you can get graded on that. What is she embodying? What is the principle that's driving her to do what she's doing? Now, one answer can be she's the embodiment of sexuality. She's trying to embody this sexual energy and trying to be a representation or a representative of that by, you know what I'm saying, dressing the way she's dressing, moving her body the way she's doing. She can just be an embodiment of sexuality. Now, if you dig a little bit deeper, you can also say that she's an embodiment of, how should I say this? I want to say energy, but it's really, how can I say this? She can also be an embodiment of instinctual drive. You know what I'm saying? Or just the drive itself, because understanding that your sexual energy is also associated with your birth and your death. So she can be an embodiment of that. Or if you go into my book and go into the chapter dealing with mitochondria weave, that's that whole chapter where I make a comparison between your mitochondrial proteins and the way certain women act and the weave, that whole shebang. She's an embodiment of that. Like there's women right now that they don't really understand the semiotic value of the weave that they wear in their hair. They don't understand it. They're driven by it on a subliminal level to wear it in their hair, but they don't understand what it's there for. Yep, circus, circle. Say facts. Embodiment of primal energy or force triggering the same in the mode she approached. Okay, that's part of her principle. She's there to embody that principle. She's there to act on behalf of that, whether she is consciously aware of it or not. She may feel it on some level. She doesn't have to like intellectually assess it. She just has to embody it, like feel it. She can just be in an emotional way. But nevertheless, she's embodying that. It's acting through her vessel. So now if that's something you know why you are encountering it. You can have a clue as to why it's in your experience or within your range of perception or observation. That's principles out. This is the Jadakiss chamber right here. You know what I'm saying? The Locks chamber, Jadakiss chamber. Teaching niggas principles. Got a whole song called Principles with Fabolous on that album Friday on Elm Street. Listen to that song. He said it's not about the money. It's not about the physical. It's the principle behind it. So I keep seeing movies and shows where it's like, oh, you after him for $5 or you after him for $50, whatever. It's like, nah, it's not the money, it's the principle. That's an esoteric occult understanding right there, if you pay attention. It's not the physical dollar, it's not the physical thing, the money, it's the principle behind it. The principle that uses the actual physical dollar or the money as its vector, as its vehicle. This is a realm of vehicle, realm of effects. That's it. Nothing here causes anything else here. Again, if I throw a ball at it and you catch it, you know what I'm saying, with your glove mitt, if we're on a baseball field, I'm not causing anything physically. This is all to represent a pre-existing ideal or principle or abstract. So when you operate from the semio plane instead of the physical or the emotional or the thought plane, now you're getting into some real kernel work, as I like to call it, where you're digging into the real, true actuality of what is. You know what I'm saying? Nothing here is here by mistake. Nothing here is here by chance or as a mere coincidence. You need to be able to read all that stuff. I teach you in my book, Wholography, how to do exactly that. I back it up with all the research that I could do in this book, and that's how you learn it. That's how you learn to read like that. Yeah, and I said that at the beginning of this live stream that it says in the Bible that we fight against principalities. Yes, that's exactly what's going on. Said with identifying the symbiotic, I think you mean symbolic or semiotic, because symbiotic means a relationship between living creatures. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about semiotic, semiotic. Said with identifying the semiotic nature of phenomena outside, how does one clearly identify self in relation to that which one is observing? You need to be able to see that you and everything else is but a vehicle of meaning. That's why I have a acronym in my book. UIM, united or unified in meaning. That's the unifying thread of all things here. That's the basis of my holography unified theorem. A equals 1 over infinity. All things are united in meaning, meaning that it means something just like you mean something. So when I pick up this seed, we both have a semiotic value. Do I embody the semiotic value of the seed? Does the seed embody my semiotic value? That's where we are one and the same. We are both expressing meaning. Therefore, there is no true separation between me and this seed, or me in this book, or me in this book. I'm just picking up shit around me, or me and these two pens. There's no difference between us in that respect. Now, you can say one of the differences is not made of flesh. It doesn't have eyes. It doesn't see as I do. It's not wearing a shirt or a necklace or glasses. So that's where our differences are. But where are we the same? Where do we compare? We're both embodiments of meaning. So if I embody meaning and the pen embodies meaning, we are all just meaning, symbiosis. Said Kernelwork is type 5. I'm telling you, people sit here and say they root workers. I'm on Kernelwork. We're going beyond the roots. It doesn't start at the root. It starts in the kernel. The root comes out, and then the sapling becomes the tree, the branches, the leaves, the fruit, and beyond. Teaching you principles. Welcome to the Jadakiss chamber. Got me teaching niggas principles. This should be the fundamental, foremost thing to learn, and then everything else it branches off into all the different fields of study. Even if it's talking about occult or esoteric, all that stuff. Start at the roots, or go beyond the roots and start at the seed. We do kernel work over here. This is a kernel work session. Because you start at the seed, everything else will make perfect sense. There's no loss or no type of confusion about what comes after the seed. But if you start at the branch or the leaf or the fruit or even the root, you're going to miss the kernel. The reason why any of this is even here in the first place. We in the Jadakiss chamber. Some people don't know, they don't know they self God. You know how Papa Wu, I made a post on my Instagram with Papa Wu from the Wu-Tang Clan. He passed away like a few years ago. But he has this he's featured on this track on Ghostface's album Iron Man. It's a song called Black Jesus. So he's basically teaching Ghostface, Raekwon, and I guess you God is there too. And he's teaching them that people don't know the signs of themselves. That's why they lost. They don't know the signs of like they don't know the signs of anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the signs of who they are. They don't know why they have 20 toes and fingers, or two eyes, or one mouth, or one head instead of two heads, four eyes, 18 fingers and toes, or whatever. They don't know themselves. They don't know why they have 24 ribs. They don't know why they have one heart and two lungs. They don't know. They don't understand the principles behind the whole design of their own physical frame. So niggas want to call it meat bag, but it's like you don't even understand why you even came here and first identified yourself with that meat bag until you got knowledge yourself. Why is there even the idea of a meat bag anyway? Come on now. Say all things unite under purpose. Yes, so there's a purpose to express that meaning. So I deal with that too. You want to talk about purpose? So I deal with teleology in my book. Teleology is the study of the end goal or purpose of anything here. So again, there's nothing in my reality, there's nothing in my experience that lacks meaning. So that means I should be able to read it like a true holographer does. Get the book. Say, yo, tell us your top three Jadakiss tracks. Knock Yourself Out. Um, we Gonna Make It with Styles P and Principles. The song that he got with Fabolous. That was kind of hard to do because usually I'm listening to way more than that. But just the songs I can, name off the top of my head. You know what I mean? We in the Jadakiss chamber. Who's teaching y'all niggas principles? Who's teaching y'all this stuff? Did you learn it in school? Did you learn it on YouTube? Did you learn it at conscious lecture? We dealing with principle. Principle precedes everything here. Deal with the kernel. And watch this shit grow like a plant, son. Like they said on the Cuban Link album. It's gonna grow like a fucking plant, son. Said I gotta dive in. Never listen to bro like that. I'm telling you, this again, my whole thing is kernel work nowadays, because again, I see people that do not go as far. Now, I'm not saying anybody's wrong in whatever they doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you wrong or incorrect. I will say that you may be inaccurate or incomplete. So I'm here to holograph everything. I'm a holographer. This is what I do. We are holographing this whole existence. I have a chapter in my book, Holographing Existence. Stop playing with me. You want to learn these principles, learn it the right way, learn it officially. Have it in your bookshelf. This is something that you want to have on your bookshelf. Because then you can go back to every other book that you read or will read or reading now, and now you can start to holograph that as well. What are the principles or the abstracts or the themes or controlling ideas behind what I'm reading? You're just gonna you just memorize it, and now you know it, and now you want to sit here act like you're the smartest thing walking just because you memorized something out of a book. No, you didn't learn shit. You just learned how to memorize better. If anything, nah, get the principle, get to the root, the kernel, get to the seed. Where does it begin? Sankofa. We go back to the beginning for this shit. This is what kernel work is for. You need to start knowing what principle or principles you are embodying right now, because that would it would give you more insight into the purpose of why you exist. You can't stop me once I get into a purpose-driven mode. You can't stop me now. I'm purpose-driven. I am existing solely for what I came here to do in the first place, not for what I have been deceived into or led astray to do. I'm here based on what I came into existence to do. You got a lot of lost mom, you got a lot of lost ones out here thinking that they smart, having the semblance of intelligence, but really don't know where they going. They don't know the signs of they self, God. They don't know the signs of they self. They don't know how to read self. We can say know thyself. I also say read thyself. I got it on the back of this book. Read thyself. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. It ain't got no glare on it. Yeah, read thyself. I got it right on the back. Read thyself, and thou shalt know the literature of the gods. Whatever you think gods is, because we don't have to sit here and debate about what's that. Because obviously, if we get into the etymology of the word and we see how it's being used in different cosmologies, we can come to the conclusion that it's dealing with different elements, versions of the same element, and putting together to create everything else. Like, for example, do you know that there is a hidden connection between the periodic table of elements and the phonetic alphabet? Jada is top 5. Yeah, top 5. He got an album called Top 5 Dead or Alive. Said different. Alignment feels similar to floating along a wave, even in the presence of turmoil. Well, like I said, some people don't want to live in aligned, an aligned existence. They want to live it out of alignment, and then they see what the result is of being out of alignment. Now, when I say alignment, it goes back to that whole telos or purpose that I'm talking about, that we were just discussing. Because if you're in tandem with that or in tune with that, there's no way that someone can stop you that's outside of their outside of an alignment. So that's really like your first line of defense before you even have to sit here and do any type of magic or any type of ritual or spell to try to protect yourself. Is like get into alignment. It's like wood trying to break diamond. What wooden bat can break a diamond? That got to be a hell of a otherworldly wood. You know what I'm saying? You go and break diamond. Diamond being a what? A vessel or a representation or a vehicle for a higher principle alignment. Because you know that with a crystal or a diamond, all the so-called molecules are in this super structured lattice structure. You know what I'm saying? And it leads to it being the hardest substance known to man. So now if someone try to hit you with a substance that's less than that, it has to break. That's principle. That's not just physical. That's principle. So imagine living your life like that. Who can break you? What can break you? This is the Jadakiss chamber, yo. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I ain't want to hear it. This was supposed to be 30 minutes long, by the way. This went to about a whole hour and 4 minutes. But again, man, Achad, man. Wholography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline. www.wholography.com/the-book. Invest in your reading of yourself, your script, and the script around you.